Good evening. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hoping you can hear me. Please let me know you can hear me. My usual paranoia on these things that the microphone's not working and nobody can hear me. So, would appreciate if you would just drop a little comment inside there in the comments box and just say, yes, you can be heard. You can be heard. All is well. I hope you're all doing good. I am back from lots of travel, different places. Darra's been all over the place as well. It's our very busiest time of the year with workshops. It's a lovely time of the year for the workshops. The colors are great. The sunrises are very reasonable. It's just the perfect time of year. The light can be really great as well. So yeah, it's been busy. I can see a few people coming in. Declan is there. Barbara is there, Becky is there saying afternoon. So some people are coming in from different parts of the world, clearly. So that's cool. Yeah, it's evening here, so I'm allowed to have a glass of wine. So there you go. Good evening. How are you doing? It's a Wednesday night as well, so it seems like a reasonable time to have a glass of wine. I am having a little tipple of South African Pinot Noir here, one of my favourite wines. So I had to root around to pick that out this evening. I haven't been home, I just haven't been home. I've been on the road and I have a ton of wine in the garage, but it's all buried in boxes and I just didn't have myself together. So I was like rooting around for a bottle of wine at five, pulling out boxes, trying to get things together. So first world problems, most definitely. Lots of people coming in saying they can hear and everything is working good. So that's great. Thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. So tonight, what I'm going to do is, besides drinking my wine, I'm going to tell you firstly actually about something that I purchased, because I know we all love the camera gear, don't we? We're all kind of into the camera gear. Let's be honest. Mark Simpson tells me actually that I remember this comment, that it's a separate hobby, the purchasing of camera gear and the actual taking of photographs themselves. So Mark, you'll be happy to see that I have delved into the secondary hobby aspect of things, and just got this lens from Cons Cameras, who always look after me and do a brilliant job. So I got a 600mm 6.3, and I got the 1.4 converter with it. So I haven't used it yet. I literally just got it kind of just before the last workshop in Scotland, and don't really see the need for Scottish landscapes, but I'm going to be doing some little bit of wildlife, I guess, in Bolivia next year with the flamingos. I'm going to be definitely doing some wildlife in Namibia. I'm going to be doing a workshop with Rachel Bigsby where it's going to be wildlife. Plus, I'm working on my Phoenix Park stuff, where I love picking out trees in the distance. So having the 600 seemed like a great addition. I looked at the 180 to 600 because Nikon also do a 180 to 600, and it was definitely more cost effective. But I actually like the idea of being able to shoot 800 as well. So I've just, my experience with these guys is the 1.4 converter is that things can get a little bit soft with them. So I thought better to get the prime 600mm. It's a 6.3. It's obviously not the f4 $17 million. You guys need to book a few more workshops before I can get that one, I'm afraid. Yeah, so I'm excited. So new camera gear, other things happening in my world at the moment with photography. I have some test prints here beside me. So I'm about to do art source next week in the RDS, which I do every year, and I'm going to have this baby printed 127 centimeters, 50 inches in a tray frame, a stained walnut little thin tray frame. So that's one from Bolivia, so I'm excited to see that. And then I've gone with some Namibia pieces as well for it. So this sold well last year. Sold a few of these last year. So I'm going to try this again. 40-inch piece, one of those classic sort of Namibian scenes. And I'm going to take a leap of faith with this because I love this. I don't know will anyone else like it, honestly. I don't know will it sell, but I think it's just going to look so good in a dark walnut tray frame, just right to the edge, and all the really dark tones in it. And then that that dark brown to match the dark brown in the picture, and it sort of floats inside that. So yeah, Could be an expensive mistake, but I'll put it up in my house. I've got walls. So, yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Travel. Darra did 3 trips. He was in, or 4 trips actually, 2 trips in Ireland. He had a trip to the Dolomites, to the Dolomites. He had a trip to Brittany as well. Yeah, so 2 Ireland, Brittany and Dolomites. I have been in Ireland for an extended trip with Nick Page, and also in Norway, where myself and Toti Thorarin did the Senya workshop, and then we went and scouted for a new workshop in Lofoten afterwards. So I'm going to show some images from both of those. I'm also going to show some new images from Ireland, and I'm going to show some new images from Scotland. And you also know that I have a new 600mm lens. So everything's going good this evening. So another new addition to my life. The age has been catching up, I'm afraid. And this is my first public airing of my glasses. It's normally only Thor sees me in these glasses, and occasionally my wife, but mostly Thor. So there you go. Welcome to the world of blindness, Peter. It's good to be 44, you know. Anyway, there you go. So let's jump into it. Let's edit some pictures. Let's look at some pictures. Thanks everybody for coming. I can see loads of comments coming in. Hello Greg, hello John, hello Declan, Linda's there, Lauren is there, Thorin's even there. I see Jack and Ellen there. Hope you guys are doing good. Lovely to have you online here. So yeah, let's jump into some actual photography rather than me just talk my lenses. I have to have a drink of wine first. Hold on. That wine is absolutely delicious. That Crystal from South Africa. It's one of my favorite wines. What do you think of the glasses? Do you think I could you know, manage to have these glasses on a trip and not lose them? I don't know. It seems unlikely, doesn't it? That's my worry about bringing them. I really need them for reading. I don't need them for long-sightedness, but I just don't think I could bring them and not lose them. I mean, this is trouble enough trying to look after the bloody keys. Okay. Can you hear me again? The sound seemed to disappear. I'm just getting messages flooding in from Tilo and people. Barbara's now trying to phone me. It's okay, Barbara. It has been resolved. But thank you for calling, for your concern. Yeah, just let me know it's back up and working there again, guys. Sorry, when I shared screen, I had a different setting on my screen share, so I think that's what happened. But we're back. Okay, so let's look at the images. So just context for the images here first. Actually, I have been editing like a madman since, what day is today? Is Wednesday, and I wanted to start trying to edit on Monday, but I came back from tour on Friday, and then obviously things got in the way, you know, in terms of just dealing with emails and dealing with all the various things that need to be done with the business. And it's hard, honestly, for me to keep up with those things during the busy period of travel as well. So Monday was kind of lost. Then yesterday I was like, okay, great. I got 2 full days. I'm going to get stuck into the editing. I was working away great yesterday morning. And about 11 o'clock, the bloody power went off in the house, and it didn't come back on until 4:30. So I lost like massive amount of time yesterday afternoon. But I edited like crazy all day today. I edited like until 11 o'clock last night, so I got a good few done, good bit of new work to show you, and I'm really happy with lots of it. I'm always sort of feel funny about showing work like this when it's just so fresh. Like, I prefer to have sat on it for a few weeks, because you notice mistakes, you know, like I just feel like maybe you guys don't make mistakes, but I definitely do. I notice things when I just release something too quickly, and I go, oh, that's a bit warm, that was a bit cool, I should have lightened that, I should have darkened that. So I do like to sit in them, but I haven't sat in these at all. So anyway, let's go through them. So first up is Mr. Darra Muldowney. I have a couple of pictures from Darra. Darra is away having a romantic evening, I believe, this evening with his partner. I'm quite sure he won't hear me make that comment anyway, and if he does hear me make that comment, he's not having a very romantic evening away, so there you go. But Darra sent me a few pictures from his travels, so not really going to focus much on that because I don't have many edited ones, but just to give you an idea what was going on with him, he hit the Dolomites. This is the Alpe di Susi. This is one of those absolutely stonewall classic scenes in the Dolomites, and we hire like a private kind of taxi guy, brings us in under the cover of darkness to this spot, and you can see the light comes up in behind the mountain. This is a blend of numerous exposures because of course the dynamic range is so wide here, you know, so you do need that blend and multiple shots to get this in here. So yeah, the Dolomites classic scene. Darra was also in Ireland for us. I thought this was great to see this cottage in the Black Valley with the rainbow over it. I've been up there so many times, and you know, you don't necessarily always get the best light, of course. This is probably the best light I've seen there, having that rainbow just right over the back of it, and that little bit of dappled light in the backdrop in the foreground. I thought was really special. So the guys were very lucky to get that for sure. I could see a comment coming in from Andrew saying none of us make mistakes. Andrew, well, fair play to you. I'm highly impressed with the lack of mistakes in your life. That's good work. That is good work. Yeah, so what do you think? Have you seen this shot, Moll's Cottage, I think it's called? Have you seen this shot with a big rainbow over the top like this before? I think that's a pretty unusual one. It's mostly just rains up there. So yeah, beautiful shot. Good to see the road has got beaten down here a little bit. They kind of repaved it at one stage, and you know, they probably thought they were out. Well, they were doing everyone else a favour except the photographers, and we were all looking and going, Jesus, look at that freshly paved road. It looks horrible. How am I going to compose my foreground now, you know? But yeah, beautiful light, beautiful rainbow, single exposure. You know, nothing too complex in terms of exposing something like this. One from Brittany. This is really Mr. Muldowney all over. You know, these long exposures and these sort of simple pastel colors, definitely really Darra. I absolutely love this shot. You know, something that I would absolutely like myself as well. But the tide's so important in Brittany. I know that he's been doing it for a good few years for us, and that's the really crucial thing, to get all the water up like this in the right places to get these kind of shots. But absolutely love the colouring in this one. Yeah, so Brittany. So that was Darra. That's just a quick run through of some of the spots that Darra was at, and I'm going to go into a fair bit more detail because obviously I have my own picture. So after the the Rachel Bigsby talk at the big day in September, and seeing all those stunning pictures of the bird life that she exhibited. And I kind of photographed a few birds in Dublin Bay over the summer as well. I was, I guess, much more aware of the bird life in Norway this year than I have been previously in terms of the shooting. I have to say, I feel like I discovered also that in terms of it being a picture of a bird, that while I think this picture is okay, I don't think it's anything wonderful or anything, it's okay, but it's, the bird is very small in the scene, and I'm not sure if it's big enough to be a feature. So something I learned definitely was, to shoot a little bit tighter. I was sort of shooting it as an animal or a bird in the landscape, let's say, which I think is fine. As I said, I don't think it's a bad shot, but I think that the bird is probably too small to be like an important feature of the scene. And the light was so beautiful. I could have shot, if only I had my 600mm lens here, I could have got a little bit closer and shot a little bit tighter, but the light was absolutely stunning. This is the Lingen Alps in the backdrop, and just seagulls flying in the front. And I just used, like the tracking focus, tracking the bird on the software, or on the software in the camera, and I was aware just how the light was hitting the birds, and then there was this dark palette in behind it, and thought it was okay. Nice light, nice little scene, warm processing, moody, dark. Declan is saying the sound is low. I've turned it up now, Declan, as much as I can. The little bar there tells me it's okay, that it's pumping out okay. Maybe just, I haven't got that comment from anyone else, Declan, so I'm assuming it's okay. I'll wait to hear if there's anything further on that. So next up, another scene from the Lingen Alps, another new image, quite different than the previous scene. This was the best light bar, the sort of the Northern Lights show, let's say, we got towards the end of the workshop. The light was just incredible here. I mean, one of those times where we had one in Scotland as well. The Scotland one probably lasted a good bit longer than this one, but the light just burst through onto the colours, the snow-capped peaks, the warm and cool tones in the picture. It was just one of those moments to just savour and to remember, and to be in the right place was just incredible. I'd have a look at these little sort of these little pods, or these little sort of the vegetation, the grass here, because you're going to see a shot of one of them coming up. So just keep an eye on these here, just to give you a bit of context. And all the work is new and freshly processed here. So if you like it, I'd appreciate if you tell me that you think it's okay, or am I wasting my time with all this? Just to it's been a couple of hard days of graft to get all these pictures edited, and I've enjoyed it, honestly. But it would be lovely to get some feedback if you like them as well. So here's that thing that I was talking about that little detail. And you can see these little guys scattered around the lake in the foreground here in the water. And here's a detail with the bigger lens. Later on, obviously, as that light sort of poured through for, 5 minutes. It wasn't that long, and then the light wasn't as good. But what it did leave was these sort of blue colours and warm tones in the sky, which were reflecting on the lake. So we kind of pulled out some big lenses and picked out some little details, and I just like that warm to cool thing that's happening here with the orange light, the mix of the orange light and the blue light. And I find it so unusual, this little bit of blue light just at the stem here, that's just sitting there. It's just so strange the way the light was like that, but it's perfectly natural. Becky saying she likes the bigger one, not the minimalist S ... Sorry, Becky, you can't win. We've got to bring it all out here. Got the big view, you got the little view. They both work for me, but they're definitely both very different in what they are, for sure. Another shot from Senja. This is one of the waves. You get those beautiful curling waves by the beach in Senja, and always has that amazing aqua sort of green color in it. I'm looking when I'm shooting this sort of thing. It's shot with a big lens for sure, and I'm just watching the curve of the wave to come, and I'm shooting just as the wave kind of curves, and typically I'm trying to use a shutter speed of about a quarter of a second to get this kind of look in it, yeah, it's something you can do in pretty much anywhere, any part of the world that you have some waves and some swell, and you can just get the big lens out, and yeah, it works really good. A few comments coming in there. Hey Glenn, welcome. Would it work as a portrait, Steve? Possibly. It could be a portrait too, but I like the space, I'm a spacey guy, so yeah, there's Love the Single Pod, minimalistic. Yeah, so a few positive comments anyway. I'm not totally messing this up. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, let's keep going. So Curly Wave, Norway. We got some spectacular autumn colors, especially on the Senja leg of things. And I was just fascinated with how clean the brick or the rock was on this, and then these just vibrant yellow colors growing out, because the rock kind of has it's in the blue sphere of things, and it's just so different tonally to the trees, and it's a big lens shot again, picking out the shapes, picking out the details. If we get to it, hopefully I can show you how I process this one as well, and a little trick that I like to use in Lightroom to really bring out the yellows. Luis is asking me how big a wave was it. I don't know, maybe a meter, 2 meters maybe, something like that. So next up, after Senja, myself and Thor went to Lofoten, as we're planning a trip there next year, and we had a great time in Lofoten as well. This was one of the hikes that we did, which was up a lot of steps, I have to say. And we definitely both felt the burn from walking up all those steps. I think it's 2,000 steps, and it's 600 meter elevation gain over 1.5 kilometers or something like that. So it's quite steep, but absolutely incredible up the top there. I mean, possibly the most beautiful view I've ever seen. Honestly, it just knocked my socks off, and all that sort of pain just drifted away. And we got up there, and just as we got there, this rainbow came through. Just at the opportune moment. So we were super lucky with the lighting. This was another new spot that we went into Lofoten. We did 2 hikes this time on the Lofoten scouting mission. This one was a shorter hike, I guess a bit more scrambly, but this sort of secluded beach on the other side of the island that there's essentially no roads to. Again, we were treated to just majestic light, in behind this pointy mountain, and lovely textures in the sand in the foreground. This is a blend, of course. Just shooting that type of light requires multiple exposures to be able to keep things in check. So very different take on the same beach, and I kind of put these two together just to sort of illustrate, I guess, stylistically, as well, pointing into the light or pointing across the light. So this is taken in the same beach, quite close together. One shot I'm facing across the light towards the headland to the south, and this one I'm facing directly into the light, right into the headland in the opposite direction. You can just see how the light registers so differently. Obviously I've exposed this very long. I didn't need any blending or anything like this in this shot. It's a single exposure, but I really like this too. Just, I think it's a 1 minute or 2 minutes or something like that, just to make everything really, really smooth and really, really minimal and really, really clean. So we were on a mission, of course, to discover new places, new locations, and yeah, we have the little red cottage in the snow. We also needed to find, of course, the little red cottage in the autumnal colour, and this was a location we found on the final morning. Honestly, I think at this point, both myself and Thor were beaten up in respect of having done the previous workshop for 6 days, and then we were scouting for 3-4 days, and we've been up for sunrises all the time. We were just exhausted. So there's definitely loads more to do in this area. We scouted a few spots that will shoot sunrises and sunsets when we go back, but it was a lovely little find. Just the yellow grasses and the little cottage just on the edge of the hill. Next up, another Lofoten autumn image. I got some great reflections on the last night, and this image I think turned out better than I thought it was gonna. Thor had actually gone at this point. He deserted me, and I was there all alone, and I was feeling a little bit tired, I'll be honest. And when you're that tired, sometimes you don't have the energy with it for the photography, and didn't think I got a great shot. But actually, on reflection, when I've edited it, I think it's pretty okay. So totally different looking Lofoten in the autumn than it is in the winter. Like, you just couldn't get to this spot in the winter. Absolutely no chance. So it's interesting, to see it in a totally different way, and to photograph it different places from that same location that you've been a million times and get a totally different feel for it. Of course, the green stuff came into play, and I got a fabulous evening of Northern Lights on my final night before I departed. Thor had actually gone home at this stage, so I was down the beach all alone for a few hours, and there was a nice tide. There was a nice sort of wet colours in the foreground. I was able to compose in a way, I guess. Being honest, when we do normally do the Northern Lights, there's 5 people per instructor that everybody's freaking out, basically. Everybody's trying to focus their camera, get their exposure right, and I understand that. It's like, first time seeing the lights, people have spent money to go there. It's our job to get people focused and to get people exposing properly, and that's what we do, hopefully. But it can be stressful for us because everybody is freaking out, basically. So it was fun to go down there on my own for a few hours and just be able to compose with a little bit more thought and have a little bit more time. And it was just gorgeous. Honestly, it was a great show. Last night, as I said, I actually processed this twice. I processed it in black and white as well. I kind of like the toning in the black and white version. What do you think, guys? Color or black and white? I think the black and white works, doesn't it? It's got to be color. Could it be black and white? I just see some messages coming through. I'm just going to make sure. Okay, no. Yeah, there's someone. We've lost the sound, but it's back. That's an old message. That is an old message. Okay, so color, black and white. Let me know what you think. There's Louis says color. Anybody else? Any other thoughts, guys? Color, black and white. Black and white's too dark. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I kind of like both, I'm kind of torn between which one. So there seems to be an issue, guys, with people on Facebook that the signal doesn't seem to be coming through. I'm not sure what that is with Facebook. Could be an issue with Facebook. I'm definitely still broadcasting and it's working on YouTube, so would suggest popping over to YouTube and just go to the Explore Light YouTube channel and you'll find us there if you're on Facebook and it's not working. Sorry about that. I don't know why that's not. It's possibly my internet signal. It's possibly something going on with Facebook. So I'm just going to have to keep going because it's something that I can't fix. Another black and white interpretation of Northern Lights. Steve Smith is messaging me. Yes, Steve has nothing I can do, Steve, I'm afraid. I don't know how to fix that. Okay, I'm getting a lot of messages with worry about Facebook. Let me just go in there for a second. See, can I fix it? It seems to be working there. Waiting for live signal. The live signal has ended. Sorry guys, we're having signal issues here. I don't know why. The software has just told me that the live signal ended, and I'm not sure exactly why that happened. So I'm just going to continue on YouTube because I still think the YouTube is working. God damn it, always a technology issue with these things. Yeah, YouTube is working. It seems to be a Facebook thing. Okay, I'm just going to continue, guys. Okay. So another black and white one from the same evening, Northern Lights. Color. I really like this composition, just the sort of the zigzag sort of shape through the center of the frame. I thought the comp worked really good with this. Sorry, I'm so distracted by this technology not working. I'm getting messages here on the other screen giving out to me essentially. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not working. The YouTube seems to be fine, but the Facebook is just acting up. So over to Ireland. This is a classic scene from Bunbeg in County Donegal, and this is shot when I did the workshop with Nick back in October, and used a little bit of polarization as per Nick's suggestion just to bring out the patterns under the sand. We kind of walked out into the tide, and we were waiting for the water to come down. There were a few complaints that I brought them into water that was a little bit too deep for them, but I just thought they needed to be a little bit more resolute. But anyway, let's move on. Yeah, lovely lines, lovely patterns, long exposure, nice simplicity in this one, but hopefully effective. We shot a lot of seascapes. Nick is big into the sort of water movement and the aggressive tides and things like that for his photography, so we were looking to shoot in the tide quite a lot. We got quite grey light unfortunately for most of the week, which again you know, Nick's style would have more colour, more light and things like that, so we were just unlucky that the sky literally didn't break for like 8 days. It was most unusual, but we got some great swell, and you know, I think they work really nicely in black and white, using around a 1 second exposure, something like that for this. Giant's Causeway, a place that I always personally find difficult to photograph. I know it's a sort of an iconic Irish place to shoot, but I have some wide angle shots that I like of it, but I'll often end up taking out the bigger lens and just picking out some specific details, you know. This is an example of that, with just those rolling waves just towering in behind those beautiful rock shapes, and just again it's shutter speed, probably around half a second, 1 second, just to keep a little bit of shape and a little bit of texture in it. This is one from Malin Head, a really great day, and one I was going to potentially look at a little bit of processing if we have some time this evening. Um, I worked on this again today. I was really happy with how I managed to soften out the line in the back of this image, because it can often be a problem with these pictures to get the line in the back just touches almost the top of the rock, and I used a little technique. I'm going to hopefully, as I said, show you as we go through this evening how I managed just to soften that line out in the back, lifted that sort of aqua colours of the Atlantic Ocean up in the shot as well, and then just some dodging and burning just to bring out the warmer tones in the rocks, but it was grey again, but we got some great swell, and we had moody skies, and there was definitely something really great to work on from this place. Derry Clare Loch, one of the best mornings I guess we had in terms of light in that workshop. We got the reflection, we got the sky. We didn't really get light coming through it, but we got that perfect symmetry which you get at Derry Clare Loch, which is just always special. I have a lot of tight shots as well that I need to process from this morning. I had the big lens out quite a bit, so I have a good few tight shots that I need to work on as well. So on to Scotland, and you see I had to take a deep gulp there, a big gulp of wine as I moved on to Scotland. So just literally in the door last Friday, and somebody said to me many years ago that Scotland is like Ireland on steroids, and I think that's a fair description. It just has such an incredible array of beautiful trees and beautiful mountains, and we were fortunate definitely on this trip. We got some great light at different points. People keep messaging me here saying things aren't working. Sorry lads, Facebook's gone, I know. This was just a little bit of dappled light across these Scots pines. We waited probably for about half an hour, maybe even 40 minutes. There had been a bit of light, and then it went, and then we waited, and we just got a little bit going through, which was just a magnificent place. Scotland's beautiful. That's all I have to say about it. And the trip was very much about the trees, and the trees as part of the landscape, but can be photographed in so many different ways in that context. Like, this is obviously a long exposure, letting the reeds go, using the white light of the water versus a shot which shows the sort of epic beauty of the landscape, let's say. So very different types of shots stylistically, but two shots I was very pleased with from the trip. And then on the not the final evening, maybe it was the second, maybe about halfway through the trip, a little bit towards the end, we got some absolutely stunning light. And this is again why I hate presenting work when I haven't gone through it fully, because I can see the dust bunnies now. I could just see the dust bunnies on the top of the screen, and those little spots in the sky that I didn't clean up, because I finished the editing of this picture at about 4:50 and went down for dinner and to do some stuff with my family, and came back up at the computer at 7. So there they are. Look at them, little dust bunnies. Anyway, I'll clean them out before it's posted anywhere. But just stunning light, just like moody sky and beautiful side lighting across the scene. It was just absolutely magnificent, and those pine islands just all over the place in Scotland, just incredible, and sculpted mountains in the backdrop. We were so lucky with the light on this one. A bit like that burst of light that came through in Norway, but this one lasted a bit longer. Was just absolutely incredible. And finally on Scotland, I think I should have two. I'm interested to hear what you think. I've got a lighter one, I've got a darker one. It's the same picture. Lighter one or darker one? Which one do you prefer? I tend to like the lighter one, but I'm kind of a bit torn on this. So there's the lighter one, and there's the darker one. Now, it was absolutely bucketing down rain as the light came through, and the backlighting is coming through and just lighting up all the rain, and it was a beautiful scene, and just having that little single Scots pine. Mark Simpson says darker. There's the lighter one. Darker. And everyone's going to say darker. Gillian said the lighter one. Thank you, Gillian. Praise the Lord. Everyone always says darker. Charles, darker. John, darker. Tim, we're being totally outvoted here, Gillian. This is horrific. Maybe I'll go in between. But it was amazing to see the light. We just had this a very crisp, clear morning, and you thought you'd never see a cloud again, you know. And then suddenly the rain starts to come down. You start to see the rainbows. The light starts to come through the rain, and that's just that changeable weather, you know. You get it in Ireland too, for sure. Ireland and Scotland have that super changeable weather like this, where you can photograph trees like this. But yeah, we just really locked in on that particular morning. So that was the collection. You've seen them all? Do you have anyone there that you remember that you want to see again? I can maybe tell you guys quickly which ones are memorable to me, and then you can tell me, is there something that's memorable to you? The just for sheer light, just the epicness of the light for me this autumn, it was these two. You know, for just like that classic landscape, absolutely outrageous lighting, just totally stunning. Both scenes, you know, epic beauty, let's call it, unreserved. So it was those two scenes for me. I have so much more to process. I have to say. I did really like this one as a detailed shot, as well as a sort of quite a different take on something from the Giant's Causeway. Really dependent on having that great swell there to be able to get a shot like this. I mean, again, I suppose if we're going to say epic light, it's hard to ignore this one as well, you know, at that incredible vista, you know. And the Northern Lights, was pretty fab too. We got a universal, I think, prefer the green than the black and white one there. Just going to pour myself a little bit more wine here. But yeah, it was a great season. It was so much great photography, so much laughing with good people, and yeah, it was just a great time. What about this one? This could be a favorite for the lot as well. Do you have a favorite, guys, in there from the new images that you've seen? Give me an indication of which one you liked the best of those probably 20, 25 new images I've processed. There's Declan saying that's the best. I think that's what that says, Declan. That one's the best. Better than all the rest. Better than this one. I mean, I love the simplicity of these sort of ones as well. If I'm going to print something, I think that's gonna work really good. Anyway, lots to ponder there. So I have a couple of raw files here as well, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of editing on these raw files to kind of wind things up for the evening. Mark Simpson says epic light Norway, Little Island and the Reeds, Eamon. Everybody's coming in from YouTube. The Facebook thing bloody dropped. It's infuriating. Anyway, any more takes? I'm going to keep going with the processing then. So I'm just going to open these guys up. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go back into Lightroom, because they're already in Lightroom. And let's go with West with Nick. And let's find the file. There it is. So I'm just going to duplicate this file, and then I'm going to reset it and bring it back to its original state. Yep, nothing there. Okay, so here it is, straight out of the camera. I always have my camera set to vivid just so I can impress the customers. But I'm going to put it back to Adobe Color as I always would before I edit. So here's the image. Here's the original raw file, untouched. And here is the final version, or at least the version I've made for today. So there versus there. So you can see it's a lot flatter. I actually removed the rock in the end here. So there was a couple of things removed, but the big thing actually I wanted to try and show you guys, and I have demonstrated this before when I've been editing, is that one of the really sort of important things in terms of the edit of this one was how that line just behind this stack here basically just touches the tip of it, and to get that composition looking something like this, you know, with this rock on the right, you can't quite get the rock below it. So what I did with this, which I've done with the previous Dunbrista images that I've showed you guys with the edit, is I used a radial filter and I pulled it across like so, and then I did minus dehaze, and I did minus clarity, and then I subtracted the subject. There we go. And you see how effective that is for softening that line? It almost feels like there's like a little bit of mist or something like that just in behind there. That was the, for me anyway, the most important move in the edit of this picture. Go back again and just look at the finished file. So important just to soften that line out a little bit. What I also did with this picture was I would have selected a color range of these aqua colors down here and just brought out that little bit more aqua color in there, so a little bit of towards the green and a little bit towards the blue. Again, you can see how that's brought out that nice color there. The other important move was to bring down the sky a little bit like so, but also then to move the sky a little bit towards the blue. So even if I just reset that quickly, okay, you see how softening that line at the back, and actually it's not fair because you're seeing the adjustment with the preset. So I'm going to go to here, so that's how it looked, and then there's with the adjustments. So about there to there. So there's a few simple little adjustments. If you notice as well in the actual finished file, one of the other really important things was to lift this rock out, to bring lightness and to bring warmth into the rock. And to be honest, it's a difficult thing to do that in Lightroom, to really be able to get in there with a hard adjustment. So how I actually did it was I opened it up in Photoshop as a smart object. And the great thing about smart objects is they take a second to open, so you can always have a drop of wine while they're opening. And in addition to that, what they allow you to do is to create multiple versions of the same file and then blend them together. So what I've done here is I've created a second version of the same file. Then I've opened that back up in Camera Raw, and I've created a warmer, lighter version of the file with a little bit more contrast. I clicked OK. And then I've gone in and used various masking techniques to bring these areas into the other file. So I'm going to add a layer mask, and I'm going to hit Command I to invert the mask. So that's basically hidden this lighter version. And to me, these rock areas look like they're in the darks sphere of things with the luminosity masks. So I'm going to grab a darks mask. Let's go with Darks 1, and let's just bring a little bit more contrast in the mask. And let's load that on there as a selection. And then with the brush, because we have a black mask, we need our brush to be on white over here. With an opacity of like 20%, start to lighten the rocks. This, I'm going to give you the 2-minute version of this, but this took, 20-30 minutes to really get the rocks up exactly how I wanted. But the premise again is this thing of this warm to cool, bringing warmth and light to the rocks, bringing the color into the aqua, and bringing this darkness and blueness in here while making the horizon line disappear a little bit. And you can see the final result. Okay, one more for the road. So Norway, oh yeah, I wanted to show you, this is a fun technique for your autumn colors. We're back up on this hard drive here. So many pictures still to edit. So many pictures still to edit. Okay. So I'm just going to make a virtual copy. And just reset it. And turn it off vivid. Back to Adobe Color. So one of the things I wanted to show you was how to sort of brush your autumn colors and just lighten them up a little bit. So with a shot like this, or with any autumnal color shot, I most likely lift the curve down at the bottom here, as I've probably shown lots of you before, and then darken it. So that sort of sets this darker tone. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically select a color range, and I'm going to select multiple yellow points. So really what I'm trying to select, that looks like it's got pretty much all the yellows now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten them, and I'm going to warm them to really bring all the yellows off the screen. But I don't want to lighten all of them to the same degree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to intersect that with a brush. Turn my flow down to about 50%. My feathering can be up high. And the second I brush, it's going to intersect the brush with the range mask, which means that the range mask is only going to show through in the areas that I brush. So as I start to brush now, everything will turn back. But now I can selectively lift the yellows. And what that means is that I can just create a little bit more shape. Like I don't lift all the yellows to the same degree. So I can make sure, for example, that this yellow is the lightest yellow, and that the eye is more geared towards this part of the picture. And again, if we look at the final image, you can hopefully see that finishing. That was the technique that I used, where I selected all the yellows, then I intersected the yellow selection with the brush, which meant that the yellows were all lightened and warmed and all that, but that light and that warmth only appeared in the areas where I brushed. So that allowed me to sculpt the shape of the picture a little bit more. And I think that's a really easy, simple, effective way to generally to work with your autumn colors. So that's it. That's what I had to share. New images, a little bit of post-processing. I'm absolutely livid that the signal dropped from Facebook, because we basically lost like 60% of the people who were watching the video, because more people are watching on Facebook than on YouTube. But I apologize. I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened. It was streaming out. It's possibly my internet signal here. Facebook maybe needed a stronger signal to keep it going. I might have to look at the plugging in the Ethernet cable or something like that the next time. So I'm sorry, I don't know why that happened, but I had to keep going. Anyway, for those of you who did manage to keep watching on YouTube, thank you so much for the positive feedback. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the comments. If I can answer any questions that you might have, I'm more than happy to do so. There's a little bit of delay with the questions coming in and me seeing them, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to have a little sip of wine while you might have any questions that you want to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer, of course. No worries, Andy. Thanks a million. Sorry about Facebook. The signal's probably better on YouTube anyway. It's probably makes more sense. Michelle, it is recorded. Yeah, you can definitely look back on it on YouTube. It'll be there 100%. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gillian, for the kind words. My front doorbell is ringing. I have to turn it off. Sorry. Yeah, some great trips this year, Steve Smith. Yeah, some got some great light, and honestly, I just it's a day and a half editing over 3 trips. There's so much more stuff to look at. So much more stuff to look at. But it was great to make a good start on it, and kind of having this date in my diary for me helped me to focus in on getting stuff done and getting some work out. I didn't bring down the saturation in the rocks, Barbara. I think it's just because they were naturally, so you should have something from there yourself. I didn't bring down the saturation. What I did was, and we can take a look at it in our webinar as well, what I did was, if I just reset it and just put it on normal color, I just lifted the blacks, which is this curve down here on the right, and then I darkened it. So that kind of created that slightly darker feel to the rocks, and then I went in and started to dodge the trees with that warmer color to lighten them up. And that's kind of how I got to here. Lots of dodging and burning. So yeah. That's it, guys. So I'm going to sign off on that. Appreciate you all being here, and we'll hopefully catch up with you soon. I don't need these anymore. Feels weird wearing glasses. Take it easy. Have a good night. Good luck. Bye-bye.